Cooper Lutkenhaus, 17 years old. Still in high school in Texas, he stepped onto the start line against Marco Arop, a former world champion and Olympic silver medalist. It was the boys' first race on track and field's biggest professional circuit. What happened over the final 200 meters made one commentator call it science fiction. Cooper Lutkenhaus is 17 years old. He runs the 800 meters, and in 2026, nobody on the planet has figured out how to beat him over 2 laps. In March, he won the World Indoor Championship in Poland in the middle of his spring break and became the youngest individual world champion in the history of track and field. Then he did something no world champion has ever done after winning gold. He had opened his outdoor season quietly, with a rare 1,500-meter race in Los Angeles, finishing in 3 minutes, 45.10 seconds. But he had not raced a single outdoor 800 all year. Stockholm would be his first, and Stockholm was not just any race. It was the Diamond League, the top professional circuit in the sport, where Olympic champions and world medalists show up week after week. Lutkenhaus was attempting it on his very first try, against grown professionals at 17 years old. Standing between the teenager and history was one of the most dangerous 800-meter runners alive. Marco Arop of Canada is the 2023 world champion. At the Paris Olympics, he won the silver medal, losing gold to Emmanuel Wanyonyi by a single hundredth of a second. His personal best of 1 minute, 41.20 seconds is the North American record, and it makes him the 4th fastest man in the history of the event. Arop arrived in Stockholm fresh and hungry. It was his first race since the World Championships in Tokyo the previous September, which meant 9 full months of training had been poured into this opener. He is known as one of the most consistent and experienced racers on the circuit, a big, powerful athlete who breaks fields apart with long, punishing drives for home. Wanyonyi, the reigning Olympic and world champion, was scheduled to run but pulled out after becoming a father that same week. That left the script simple: the most decorated man in the field against the kid in his first Diamond League. The proven veteran against the junior who had just cleaned out his school locker. Nobody doubted the teenager's talent anymore. But indoor titles and age group records are one thing. Plenty of young runners have looked unbeatable, right up until the moment a world-class field swallowed them whole. Stockholm was built to answer one question: was Cooper Lutkenhaus actually ready? The gun fired and the field went out fast behind the pacemaker. This is the part of an 800 that destroys newcomers. The pace burns, the elbows fly. One bad decision in the first lap and the race is already lost. Lutkenhaus did not panic. He did not chase the front. He settled into the pack and slowly moved up through the field, running his own race exactly the way a 10-year veteran would. Then, with 300 meters remaining, Arop made his move. The Canadian stretched the field and took the lead with the same authority he has used to crush races for years. This is the moment where Arop wins. This is where younger, lighter runners crack and fade. Lutkenhaus did not crack. He tracked every single move. Around the final bend, he tucked himself into Arop's slipstream and waited, sitting on the shoulder of the 4th fastest man in history as if the position belonged to him. Then they hit the home straight, and the 17-year-old attacked. He swung out of the slipstream, drew level, and glided past the Olympic silver medalist like the final 100 meters were the easiest part of his day. Arop had no answer. The gap opened. The line came 1 minute 42.70 seconds. The kid had not just beaten the pros. He had hunted down the best closer in the field and outkicked him at his own game. Afterward, Lutkenhaus was almost frighteningly calm. He explained that he moved up slowly, put himself in a good position with 200 meters to go, and focused only on himself instead of worrying about anyone else. He said the race went exactly to plan. Think about that for a second. A 17-year-old planned to beat an Olympic medalist in his Diamond League debut. Then he simply executed it. The time itself sent a shockwave through the sport. 1:42.70 was the fastest outdoor 800 run by anyone in the world that season. Across the entire year, indoors and outdoors combined, only one performance on Earth stood above it, the indoor world record of 1:42.50 set by Josh Hoey in January. The win also rewrote the record books. Lutkenhaus became the youngest man ever to win a Diamond League race at any distance since the series began in 2010. And remember the setup. This was his first outdoor 800 of the entire year. No tune-up races. No rust busters at the distance. He stepped off a plane from Texas, lined up against an Olympic medalist, and produced the fastest outdoor time on the planet on his first attempt. On the international broadcast, veteran commentator Tim Hutchings could barely process what he was watching. 17 years old, running 142. His verdict was blunt. It's like science fiction. It's quite astonishing. The teenager himself was already looking forward. He told reporters, "I kept telling myself I'm a 142 guy," and explained that he wants to race with more aggression this season, striking from over 200 meters out to surprise his rivals. The Stockholm win made him a perfect 5 for 5 in 800-meter finals in 2026. But the doubters had one comeback ready. Arop was racing for the first time in 9 months, and Wanyonyi, the true king of the event, was not even there. The Kenyan had skipped Stockholm, so the full-strength version of the 800 meters had still never lined up against the kid, until Lutkenhaus beat the Olympic champion himself. Face-to-face, the throne was not fully his. He would not make anyone wait long. Just 3 days after Stockholm, the Diamond League moved to the Bislett Games in Oslo, Norway. This time, Wanyonyi was on the start line. The 21-year-old Kenyan is the reigning Olympic and world champion, and he has broken 1 minute 42 seconds 7 times in his career, tied with world record holder David Rudisha for the most in history. This was the real test. Wanyonyi controlled the race from the front as Lutkenhaus tracked him through the first lap. Off the final bend, the Olympic champion surged, but the teenager responded, clawed past, and held off a ferocious counterattack, diving across the finish line. The photo finish told the story. 1/100th of a second decided it, moving the 17-year-old to joint 14th on the all-time list. Wanyonyi admitted he saw the American passing and tried to respond, but it was not enough. Lutkenhaus is now 6 for 6 in 800-meter races as a professional. In a single week, he beat the Olympic silver medalist in Stockholm and the Olympic champion in Oslo. Next are the American Outdoor Championships in New York in July, and the World Athletics Ultimate Championships in Budapest in September. Stockholm was supposed to be a test for a teenager learning professional racing. Instead, it became the day the 800 meters changed hands. The question is no longer whether Cooper Lutkenhaus belongs with the pros. It is whether any of them can stop him.